Hello again, Year 5, and this is the start of your English work for week beginning Monday the 27th of April 2020. And today I'm going to go over how to plan to write a narrative called The Ascent. The word ascent means to rise or climb up, and today you're going to plan a story with the title The Ascent. Now, to help you with this, you're given an image of a mountaineer or rock climber climbing a mountain, and you can see he's already about halfway up and he's looking up to the peak of the mountain. Now, over the course of this week, I'm going to expect you to plan your story, which is going to be entitled The Ascent, write it, and then check over your work or edit it. So the first thing I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to want you to use the plan that's been given, which is a story mountain. And a story mountain should include an opening, build up, dilemma, resolution and ending. So when you're planning your story, you need to make sure you've covered these 5 points. So for your opening, your success criteria is going to be, I have described a setting and atmosphere using descriptive language, and I have explained what is happening at the beginning of the story. So here's just some notes to help you with that. The first thing you're going to need is a sentence that grabs the reader's attention. You need to set the scene, you need to use some expanded noun phrases, and you need to think about your character's 5 senses. What can he smell? What can he hear? What can he see? What can he taste? And what can he touch? So for me, when I've done my planning, I've decided that the first sentence of my story, my opening sentence, will be, "Wow, I feel like I'm on top of the world," exclaimed Luke. So you can already see that one of my characters' names is Luke, and that he is quite happily climbing up the mountain because he's feeling excited. Some words that I'm going to include and some phrases are going to be that the forest down below him looks tiny. He can feel a chill in the air. He can smell the fresh air. Maybe he can hear a bird. Maybe he's feeling lucky. Maybe he's amazed or enchanted. And it would be those notes at the bottom that I would put on my plan to remind me of what I'm going to do. The next section is the build-up, and in this part you want to think about what are your characters doing. You're going to elaborate, you're going to explain about what your characters might be up to. So, again, you could include the 5 senses. You might want to think about their thoughts and feelings. Are the 2 characters going to have a conversation? Are you going to include some dialogue in your work to help the reader get a better understanding of what's going on? So in my build-up, I've come up with the name of my second character, which is Peter. And it's Peter and Luke's first climb together, and they're climbing a mountain called Mount Graham. This is the name of a mountain that was in Arizona, but you can have a little Google search and come up with the name of another mountain, or you might want to use the name of a mountain you already know, like Mount Everest. Peter is leading the climb, and in this part I'm going to describe how Luke is feeling and what he's thinking. And again, I've got some adjectives there to just remind me of what I'm going to do. Once I've done my build-up, I need to then look at the dilemma. What problem? What's going to happen to these characters to create an interesting problem? And again, your success criteria are, my story has a believable but interesting problem. I have shown the feelings of my characters as they deal with the problem. So what I've said is my character, Luke, his foot is going to slip and he can't hold on with his fingers and he's going to fall. And here again, I've included some adjectives, how he might feel. He might be scared, frightened, worried, shocked. And I've also included some fronted adverbials I might use in the sentences. So I've got in a blink of an eye, and suddenly. The next part is the resolution. So I need to be thinking on about what I've said in my story so far. So I've got Luke and he's fallen away from the mountain. So here, my success criteria is I need a believable way to solve this problem. So my resolution is Peter uses his safety rope to stop Luke falling away from the mountain. Luke lands on the edge, 10 feet below, and Peter climbs down and helps him. Remember, you don't need full sentences at this point, you can just make some notes. My final part of my work is my ending. And here I need to make sure I've finished writing effectively to complete the story. So, he's fallen 10 feet. In my story, Luke isn't that hurt, and they're going to decide to continue to the summit and look at the view. The last line I'm going to use is Luke is going to say, "Now I really am on top of the world." The reason I've chosen to end my story with this line is, if you think back to my opening, and I said, wow, I feel like I'm on top of the world. It's looping around my story, making a complete circle to how Luke is feeling. And again, I've got some fronted adverbials I might include. Finally, at last, as the sun, and there I could have as the sun set, as the sun shone in the sky, depending on what type of day it's going to be. So what I would like you to do for your first part of your English is to use this information to help plan your story. Once you've planned your story with some notes and phrases and you have a general idea of what you're going to do, what I want you to do is I want you to come back onto YouTube and look for the second part of this video where I'm going to model each section of a story and show you the different types of spag you can include.